Hey there guys, I am SonicGhost and welcome to another challenge. Today, we're back in the world of Splatoon 2 for a Splatoon 3 challenge. You'll understand a little bit more as to what's going on here in just a moment, but for now, we're at the top of the hour for a brand new challenge. So listen up, it's going down, it's time. Reputable Splatlands, it's Deep Cut, here to bring you the news on the latest challenge here, which is Dualies at 10 paces. Enter a battlefield filled with slippery customers in this all Dualies war. So this challenge is nothing but the Dualie class. And we're here at Inkopolis Square, which is a brand new overworld here in Splatoon 3. Coming back from Splatoon 2. So if you've purchased the expansion pass DLC, Inkopolis Square is a part of that, just like how Inkopolis Plaza from Splatoon 1 came back from that game. So we're just gonna go straight into the lobby from here and play our said challenge, which, as we said before, is nothing but the Dualie class one here. So stick and move with the best of them in this Dualies Dust Up. Players can only choose the different varieties of the Dualies, but both primary and secondary abilities are enabled for this. The mode is Splat Zones, so for once we're playing something different than Tower Control, but can't use this weapon as it's not a Dualie. So we're only able to use one class of weapons, which is a total of 12. So at least we have some variety when it comes to the weapon picks here. We can play the standard Dualies, and we can also use like any variants of them, like the new Order Dualies from the Side Order DLC. We can play with the Dark Tetra or Light Tetra Dualies, Gluga Dualie Deco or Vanilla Gluga Dualies, the brand new Dowser Dualie FF, got Imperi Dualies, Dapper Dualies and Dapper Dualie Nouveau, Dualie Squelchers and the Nouveau version here, or the custom version, excuse me. So we got a lot of different options here, but again, you can only use that class of weapons, so it's a total of 12, although it's 11 when you don't count the Order Dualies here, since it's essentially just Splat Dualies, but with a different skin. So, I've already prepared some freshest fits for this challenge, and we'll be using these said freshest fits just to jump into things a little bit easier. So, we're going to start off with the normal Splat Dualies, specifically using not the vanilla version, but the newly made Order Dualie Replicas kit. So, let's go ahead and jump straight into battle here. So, we're going to be playing for 5 games, see where we stack up, and then from there, I'll just be playing more of this on my own after the said video's done, and then, well, we'll get our score. You know the drill at this point. These challenges are pretty predictable at this point in time. So, the Dualie class here. You have a dodge roll when you press the B button when you're shooting. Doing this, you will combine your aim into one reticle instead of having the 2 reticles. You're just basically overlapping your guns, making your aim more accurate, but also faster too in the process. So, dodge rolling is not only important for getting out of the way fast, but also to attack enemies not only faster, but also having a more precise aim. So, jumping straight in, we pretty much have a lot of the new Dualies here being used when I'm seeing some Dowser Dualies. We got the Order Dualies here. I can see a lot of people playing Side Order, myself included. If you haven't seen me play Side Order, because I have been streaming the whole thing over on my Twitch, go check out those said streams. They've been a lot of fun. We're working our way towards unlocking all of the weapons, just trying to do a run to every single gun. So it's been a fun adventure so far, and still a lot more of the game left. So definitely check out those streams. And if you miss them, those are always on the VOD channel. But this first game is a little rough because the enemies are already in our base. Not a good start. So I don't know about this first game. We'll do our best here. And be careful here because everyone else has a dodge roll. It's going to be really hard to fight people. But using motion, I hope you got your arm workouts in. You're ready to go. Fling around as fast as you can because you're going to be using your flinging quite a lot here with your controller. You're going to be really flipping around your aim. I do have last-ditch effort on, so we're going to be using a lot more bombs, although I don't know how much longer we'll last at this rate. This is not great. We need zone, like, tomorrow, or today. If we get it tomorrow, we lose. And that's it. We didn't even get it once. Wow, that was a very fast game. That's not in our favor at all. Well, I couldn't really use much of my kit. I had the crap for 10 frames. I couldn't even activate it. So, real rough first game. So, that's not too surprising. First games are usually really hard at first for these challenges because you don't really have any matchmaking scaling just yet. You're just jumping straight in at whatever power the game is going to just predetermine you're at. So, you're just kind of thrown in at the deep end. And it showed. Now we're at least having some preliminary challenge power being built up in the back end. So, hopefully matchmaking now will be a little bit better. Let's change up our weapon to the new Dowser Dualie FF. This one is interesting because Dualies traditionally have 2 rolls, but this one only has 1. But the roll sends you flying, and your aim gets a lot better. While the accuracy thing is still the same compared to other Dualies, your range is the big one here. Range feels kind of comparable to the Dualie Squelchers in some way. Not as much range as the Dualie Squelcher, but there's like this big difference when you do the dodge roll. Kind of like how the Dualie Squelchers feel. So it's an interesting weapon, and it's a lot of fun. Kit's a little hard to use. Ink Mines and Killer Whale, not the best pairing for it. I mean, I would prefer to have a bomb compared to Ink Mines. I think that's the weakest part about this kit. But hopefully its second kit at some point in the future, it's gonna get itself something more lethal. Because this is fine. I think it's a good introduction to the weapon. The weapon itself does its own said skills here. It's hard to really think of things on the fly while trying to get the zone right away. I think the weapon does its good job here, putting its best foot forward just by itself. You don't necessarily need a super strong kit for the weapon itself to shine. And Dowser Dualies are pretty fun. I like them. The 2 new weapons they added for this season, being the Dowser Dualie and the Recycle Brella. I do like Dowser Dualies more, but I also like Brellas not as much as Dualies. I like the Dualie class a lot more, personally. Oh, I thought he was dead. See, another thing with this weapon is I'm also getting used to. It's a little bit weaker than Dualies. It could be upwards of 5 shots, depending on like a range thing. It's typically around 4. So, the power of the weapon is still something I'm getting used to as well. Oh. Was a trade. Okay, I didn't think we were trade. I thought I was barely gonna just get the guy taken out, but apparently not. Looks like we're having a hard time moving in. My team is pretty much all gone. That's not great. We are at the end of the game already, because it's already at 12. We had the zone for a blip. That's not good. All right, well, GG's again. Man, these games are not going in our favor at all. Noticing a trend. You can't play with the new things. It's not allowed. Every time. Every time. All right, well, next game. Man. Hopefully we have games that last longer than a minute going forward here. I would like to have actual back and forth games instead of total curb stomps. I don't really like the washout games like this in Splatoon. I really don't. It's just not fun. For both the player and as a spectator. So hopefully we get some more action here. Let's go ahead and change our gear. And next weapon we have on the docket here is another new one, specifically a new kit. This is the Gluga Dualie Deco kit. So this one introduces the weapon to point sensor, which is just a little thing we'll be using to track people. Not the most helpful thing for some maps in the game. I do believe Mahi Mahi and Inkblot, we won't really be using the point sensor too much, but we'll get some use out of it. But the bigger part of this kit that really shines, the Trizooka. Trizooka is still one of the most powerful specials here in Splatoon 3. It's really good for so many different weapons, so to put it on Dualie, it's going to be some great synergy with the rest of my team. It'll help our range issues. So let's just go ahead and make the best out of this weapon now. And hopefully this game lasts longer than 1 minute. For that. Okay, well, that was kind of stupid on my part. Let me get the guy on the ledge. Did you notice the one on the left? The one on the what? Yeah, no. I think that answers my question. So far, no one's got the zone, so at least it's anyone's game still. Gonna paint a little bit of the zone, and now we got it. Good. Careful, don't want to immediately get taken out. Just gonna play things a little safe. Look, I was so confused of how I got someone. I didn't notice there's suction pop. Random drop-off shot? I didn't do anything. Sometimes those are my favorite kills. The ones that you literally didn't do anything and still win. Alright, we traded. That's good. And I have a lot of quick respawn on, so this will help me get back in the game a lot faster. There's only one dually kit in this that has a tacticooler. We may not see it come up all that often because it's on, honestly, one of the hardest dualies to really use, in my opinion, in the game. It's on the Dapper dualies. So that does not help things. Alright, that was fair. I was trying to at least weaken the guy's shield, hoping someone would assist or even use a special. That didn't happen. But, yeah, Tacticooler for dualies is only on one specific dually, and Dapper dualies are really hard to use. They're very short range, and while they're very fast, that range is the big thing that hurts them real bad. So, it's not a weapon I'm going to imagine a lot of people are going to be picking. If we see some Dapper dually, like original Dapper dually specifically, we've already seen that class, but we saw the Nouveau version that has the... okay, good. We've seen the vanilla... man, I cannot think today because I'm very focused here, trying to live. We've seen the alternate version of Nouveau that has Reef Slider as a special. Because, honestly, even though Tacticooler is still one of the best specials in this game currently, it's still kind of better to have a bomb on your dually, and with the Dapper dually having just beacons, that really doesn't help it. So, Torpedo really does help out Dapper dualies a lot. Fixes a lot of its weaknesses. I see you. Gotcha. We're good. Turn around. See if I can get into their base. At this point, I'm just kind of waiting for one of them to come out. And I can do this. Perfect. Now I'm going to fire this straight up. Oh man, we were one shot away. I got out-glued. Well, let's get back in. Hopefully we can actually survive this jump. Well, thankfully we're dualies, so even if they saw us, we can dodge roll out of the way, which will make our landing safer. So as a dually player, remember that. It's the same as drop roll. Because a lot of people may want to play with drop roll on a weapon just to dodge out of the way from a super jump, but dualies can do that on their own. Drop roll is probably one of the worst things to give yourself as a dually player, just because you can kind of do it natively. So, you might as well just use your dualies for the same effect as drop roll and then have stealth jump instead. It's just the best of both worlds. This guy's going to get nuked, and sure enough, there he goes. Gonna fire this out, get another one in the process. We're doing really good with those Trizuka kills. So far, this has been the winning weapon for me, because I've been doing really good with the Googly Dualies right now. I always love saying the name of this weapon, the Googly Dualies. It sounds so goofy. Careful. I dodged into his gun. That's unavoidable at that point. I'm kind of committed. There's a reef. Whole team's gone, but we're at a lead right now, so that's good. We need to take it back, though, because this lead can change really fast if we're not careful. Come on. Oh, man. Unfortunate. I couldn't really do much with that wall in the way, because even if I aimed around it, the guy was able to move faster than I was able to aim, so not much I can do there. Let's just focus on painting. Focus on painting. There you go. At this point, we just want to keep zone. I don't think we can win it as a knockout anymore, because we don't have enough time, but as long as we keep it, then we'll still win. So just keep the zone at this point, and we should be okay. Alright, good. We traded, which I didn't even see his last bullet until it hit me. But that's good. Hopefully my team can keep control. Getting a little close here. Good. They didn't let the opposing team take it. So there's our first victory after 2 wash games. The third game was actually a back and forth experience. Those are the games I like. Even if I lost a game like that, I still wouldn't be upset because those are fun. So there you go. First game in the books. So now with that done, we're swapping dualies again. Although I am going to pause my said session here just so I can go get another ticket on. I only had 3 more games left in my double money ticket, so figured I might as well just run it out, but at this point I kind of need more money. Especially during this season, they had a lot more gear. Over 150 pieces of gear have been added to this fresh season of Splatoon 3, so that's a lot of gear to buy, and I need more money stat. So give me more double monies. I'm gonna need as much as I can handle. All right, so next weapon on the docket. Let's go ahead and swap over to this one here, the custom Dualies Squelchers. Now this weapon is pretty ink hungry, so I'm gonna have on an ink saver main for it. That way, anytime we do our dodge rolls, this is where it takes up a lot of the ink. But having on some ink saver main will help, and then having a little bit of swim speed on as the subs should hopefully put us back at a more like comfortable level, because I like a lot of swim speed in Splatoon. With how fast-paced of a game Splatoon 3 is, specifically, I really like having a lot of swim speed. Now, with the custom Dualies Squelchers, you're noticing if I do a dodge and then I jump, I can still keep my reticle connected for a small amount of time. This is something that the Dualies Squelcher specifically has going for it. It's a very interesting exclusive perk. But the Dualies Squelchers here are just a modified version of the dual Squelcher weapon from Splatoon 1, which was just essentially another jet Squelcher but with more range. In Splatoon 2, they combined the dual Squelcher with the Dualie class, making it the Dualie Squelcher, breaking them apart in hands. And by doing that, it gave it new life. And I think this was a good way of keeping the original dual Squelcher class's idea of having the longer range compared to a jet Squelcher, but then also giving it something new and fresh, if you want to say, to spice up the weapon compared to the jet Squelcher, because it was just another jet Squelcher when you really think about it. So, game 4, let's go ahead and use these. I'm not the only one using the custom Dualies, or the custom Dualies Squelcher, I should say. And we see a vanilla Dapper Dualies. Interesting. Last game we didn't have that, so someone proved me wrong. Actually wanted to play with that specific kit. Careful right away, because some people target me, and that's very fair. That guy was out of ink, I could tell. He was flopping around for dear life. Gotcha. I was waiting for a good moment. I'll put a beacon down here. As the beacon user, I'm going to definitely want to put these in some creative spots on the map. That way, my team can get back in, but they can also use the beacons here as a recon point. And now we can see exactly where enemies are, as long as they're close to the said beacon. They work as a pseudo point sensor, and in some ways I kind of prefer the squid beacons compared to a point sensor for that reason alone. So we're going to definitely want to put these down in some spots that will not only help my team get back into the map, but also give them some good recon data. Okay, that one dude is like one shot away from death. Probably got his health back at this point. Oh, that was a little close. In the corner, let's survive. Got you. At this point, they might have the zone, but that's okay. This is like a duel between the two of us at this point. Ah, he finally won. To be fair, Dapper Dualie, he can dodge faster and shoot faster. He had a little bit of an advantage on close range. Oh, this could be a mistake. Oh, definitely a mistake. Okay, I thought I traded for a second. It's close. And Perry got me instead. Best just to go back in at this point. We got a crab out, so hopefully that's going to help in terms of our defenses. Plop this down a little closer. Do the same. Good. All right, we're good. It was a little scary. The guy did see me put down the beacon, so I did kind of reveal myself. They do have their own beacon, though, which we have to be careful of. So I'm going to take this one out. Plop down some super chumps here. Move into their base, being very careful in the process. And that was a good distraction. I couldn't take anyone out, but that was alright, because honestly, that was a good distraction for my team. I'm going to jump to my other beacon, because this one looks like it's a little questionable in mid. Alright, I got control again. Careful here. Oh man, I got clipped, and then the super chump finished me off. The rare super chump kill. Feel embarrassed now. Although, they kill a lot more after buffs. Like when Super Chumps first came out, these things were very harmless, I would think of. But now they're actually pretty lethal if you have any damage on you. So it's not really that bad to get killed by a Super Chump. I think it's terrible because it's rare, but not as bad as it was between, you know, like the original version. We're unfortunately losing the lead at this point, which is not great. My team is struggling to keep control of their areas here. But we got it back, so that's good. Careful here. You're still alive. Got him, barely. I knew that if I didn't take him out, this guy might have went unnoticed. So, that was my mission, to take out the parry. Jump back in, put that beacon immediately. You know, this guy is gonna just try to flank, and sure enough, there he goes. Now, man, I clipped him, I think, 2 or 3 times, so if I did a little more damage, would have won. But we're getting close to actually winning the whole game, so maybe that won't matter soon. Beacon back down. Okay, we got lead again. Keep it up, guys. We only have a few seconds left. At this point, just focus on painting, and that's the game. Man, my dually friend really slid at the end there. That was interesting. But there you go. Another win. So that's 2 wins and 2 losses. Now, the next game is to determine, do we win more or lose more by the time we're done here? That'll determine a lot. But for now, at least happy we got another win. And I'm doing pretty good now with these dualies. I'm starting to warm up to the weapon class, as I don't play dualies all that much. So if I'm picking up the weapon after not playing it in such a long time, it takes a couple games for me to just warm up to the mechanics of dualies in general. So I need a couple games in, and I'm actually ready to play the said weapon class. But now for our final game, let's go ahead and use our final build here, which is of the Dark Tetra Dualies. I specifically am wanting to go with these because Dark Tetra Dualies has Reslider. Reslider is still one of the most broken things for Splat Zone in this game, as you can use the Reslider to instantly cap almost every single Splat Zone, it feels like, in this game. These zones are not immune to Reslider zone cheese. Now, Inkblot I might not be able to really do much of. I can probably just take like half a side, but I can just take the entirety of Mahi Mahi if I go right in the middle. So, it's gonna depend on the map for how well this one's gonna work. And there it is. As soon as I mention its name, our final game's at Mahi. We lost both times here in a really terrible way. So hopefully, this game changes that history. We're against a 2050 team though, so I'm a little scared. We'll see how it goes. The 2050 team is kind of a jump. But we don't have our power yet, so not too surprised. With the auto bomb, just get some recon. Be careful here. We gotta remember that Dark Tetra Dualies and the Light Tetra Dualies by extension, we have 4 dodge rolls to work with. The most dodge rolls of any of the Dualies. So, with this many rolls, we can easily traverse the map, but also get out of enemies' crosshairs pretty fast, too. Looks like at this point, they're all kind of trapped in their base area, which is good. Someone's using chumps and also a crab, so they're just unleashing all their specials right now. Even a booyah bomb, so that's 3 of 4 specials. At this point, I'm gonna work on getting my slider, as I can just use this to immediately cap the Splat Zone here. So I'm going to line it up, go in, gimme. Second one coming in. It wasn't enough to fully cap the zone, but I do need some special power up on it if I want my Reslider explosion to be more powerful. Hindsight, probably should have stacked a little bit of that on my kit, but I wanted to go for more quick respawn, as Tetras are going to be in action a lot, so respawn is really important. And having come back on is really good as well right now to fix some of my movement. So I'll use this to get some of my swim back up and have some ink saving perks for my auto bombs. And this will work all the time compared to last ditch effort. At this point, I'm just going to focus on painting and use my slider to get the entire zone. This is why Reef Slider is a super powerful special for Splat Zones specifically, because I could just take a zone with really very minimal effort. And it's a little too much in some cases. I mean, the newer reworked version of Mincemeat Metalworks, excuse me, this one did get a rework too. And while it did make some of the zone cheese a little bit easier to Reslider, it's not in the same class as the new Mincemeat rework, because that one is just free. You just use Reslider just with no power at all, and that can just take the zone, like, super easily. It's a little embarrassing when you think about it. I don't know why Nintendo had to shrink the zone in a rework, and I think that was a really bad decision. Because by doing that, it just made things worse for that said mode. I mean, it was already kind of an easy map for Splat Zones to take it back and forth, especially with a lot of different specials. So it just made it easier by shrinking it. Sure, okay. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to... Oh, hang on, maybe not. Hang on. I was just going to say, I don't think we're going to be able to take this game much longer because it was at 2. So that was scary. Not putting my best foot forward here with these dualies. I'm not the best with the weapon class, so I know I could have probably done a lot better in this game so far. But again, I don't really play with dualies all that much. It's not a weapon class I'm the most familiar with, and they're really hard to use if you want to play at a very high level. So it's not my thing personally, but I've seen a lot of like high level play with this weapon class, and you can do some crazy stuff with it. And I think as someone who fights a lot of dualies in Splatoon, it's one of the hardest weapon classes to actually have a proper 1v1 fight against. It's just so hard to fight a duelie player because of how fast the weapon class moves. It also asks a lot for you when it comes to aim. So you really need to be on your aim to use this weapon class efficiently. It's not the easiest just to pick up and play. In fact, in my opinion, dualies are probably one of the hardest weapons to really master in Splatoon, just because of how technical the class can really be. We'll barely got out of there. That was really close. At this point, I'm just focusing on zone. There's a guy behind me. No, you're still here. Oh, he got crap. I'm turning my controller so far sideways. Finally. That's another one down. Careful here. Man, he outranged me. That's unfortunate. I didn't want to dodge roll because I was almost out of ink. So if I dodged, I feel like I would have just drained the rest of my tank. So that was a lose-lose either way in that regard. Did my best. They're almost back down to having no penalty, which is not great. All right, they're at 1. You know they're getting mad. So let me just do some zone cheese real quick. Got you. Good. All right, keep it up, guys. We need the win in overtime at this point. There's no other way. It's not a knockout at the very least. So that's great. If we win this, we need a knockout, and that's going to be really hard. Doubly so, there's only one guy left, and yeah, that's GG's. Never mind. I was going to say, we need to have everyone on their side gone so we can make the strongest push of our lives for overtime. Unfortunately, I think wires were crossed. Some communication got a little confused. I think they meant us, the team, must wipe, as everyone died immediately after I said that. Not what I meant. Supposed to be them, not us. But hey, at least it wasn't a knockout. And hey, overall splatter with 11 kills using dualies is good for me because I don't really use the weapon class much. 1833 with 2 wins. I think it's a pretty good power given, again, I don't play the class. I've been saying that a lot for obvious reasons because dualies are hard to use. But Minna over here showing us up. 26. And then their other duelie player over there, Virtuous, was not any different at 20. Those two definitely knew what they're doing. But that was the dualies at 10 paces challenge. It's a very fun challenge, but again, dualies are hard to use. They're not going to be for everyone for that reason. So I can see this one being a hard challenge for a lot of folks because, again, of the weapon class specifically. For me, I like dualies. There's a weapon class I played a lot of when Splatoon 2 first came out, but it wasn't a weapon class I stuck with all too long just because it's just a hard class to use. And specifically, the ones I used all the time, Splatoon 2, was actually the dualie squelcher. So that's why I feel like of all the dualies in this said video we played with, I felt the most comfortable with these because I used a lot of dualie squelchers in Splatoon 2. I was just the most comfortable using these for whatever reason. It's kind of funny when you think about it. These are one of the harder dualies to use in Splatoon 2 because of the ink issues it had, but I just clicked with these, and I played a lot of dualie squelcher. So that's why I felt the most comfortable with these ones, but I do think this challenge is really good to play if you're wanting to get better at this class because, as I said, if you get really good with the dualie class, it is one of like the strongest ones in Splatoon, one of the most technical, and you can do a lot of crazy stuff, which is really good to bring into other modes too, like in the Anarchy modes, for example, in X rank. It's really good if you're a strong dualie player. it's good to have one of those on your team because of just how strong of a slayer a dually can be. So I think this challenge is a lot of fun, and it's really good to get people into the said weapon class, and it's good training for someone like myself who doesn't play the weapon much to get better at that said class. But that's gonna do it for this video. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And again, if you want to see some side order content as I've been playing through that on my live stream, check out the Twitch live streams. Link to the Twitch channel is always in the description of all these videos. And if you missed those said streams, go check them out on the stream archive channel, which once again is always linked down in the description of these videos. So if you wanted to see that content, I'm playing through it right now, and that's where we're getting some of these order weapons from. So I recommend people check it out if they haven't already. But that's going to do it for this video. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.